two things.
Industrial. So I'm a big believer in industrial investing. We don't have anything under our belt right now, but it is incredibly impactful in my opinion if you can get something like that. I'm a big fan of the triple net lease.
Yes.
You get the, what's the right word? I'm going to say freedom, but it's probably not the right word. But you get the most flexibility because you, as an owner, are responsible for maintaining the least amount possible on the building, where your tenants are the ones upholding. But it's their space, it's their business operating in there, so they're going to maintain it to the best of their ability because they need that building to stand up to continue to do what they do and feed their families. So I think the returns are maybe not as exponential as some people like to see in certain aspects, but they are just steady Eddie. And if you can get a good industrial property and get some good tenants in there, your returns are going to be good, but then over the long term, they're going to be even better. Now, things like your IRR and stuff like that, if you have investors, may not be as strong if you're trying to get out in like 2 years or something like that. But if you have a buy and hold strategy and then you sell when you want to, I mean, industrial is one of the best asset classes, I think.
So what are the return?
I mean,
Okay.
I think that's really where you can cut your teeth. You can get something in there. And I'm always a big believer, when I first got started in real estate, we were looking at more high-end multifamily type properties. And that, we got in at a time that was really interesting. It was right during the big like drop in rates. And my group and I, we were looking at it really probably the wrong way. We looked at it from a more traditional standpoint of the asset is the asset. But what we failed to see in that short window is that the asset was actually the rate at the time. And so we didn't move on some of those properties because we were looking at it more of a true long-term hold, 5 to 8 year hold, that you see more traditional like multifamily type opportunities. But more people were trading those in a 14 to 20 month period because the rate dictated that you could, and it would drive the value up. So we moved on from that. But in that time, we really started evaluating industrial properties. And I mean, we kept falling more and more in love with them. I'll tell you, like in Charleston, it's especially on the peninsula, it's incredibly hard to get your foot in there. We were trying to buy it ourselves. We were not raising capital for it or anything. So it's a little bit harder, but I'm always a big fan of starting small and building your portfolio. So don't ever be afraid to go out and buy something a little bit smaller, hold it, create some value, sell it or refinance it, take that capital, put it into another project and do it that way. The more and more I've been in this real estate game and world, is I'm a firm believer in starting small, cutting your teeth and doing it. Now, there's going to be an argument of economy of scale. You can do it big early on, and you definitely can. And some people can do that. I would argue that for the majority of the people, starting smaller, cutting your teeth, growing your portfolio at a nice rate is going to be better for you. I looked at the S&P index over the last 25 years, and I wanted to go back 25 years because the last 5 years have just been like explosive exponential growth, and everyone has their thoughts on, is it inflated? Is it not inflated? Whatever. Look, 25 years. We went through 2 financial crises during that time. If you would have invested in 2000, the annualized return for the S&P index is 11.1%. So you could have just sat money in the S&P index and just continue. Like if you just put $500 in there annually, annualized, you would have made 11.1% over the last 25 years, compounded. So that is incredible to have that kind of return. So if I'm going to do a lot of work and invest in real estate, I need something around that or better. Right. So that's what moves the needle for me. Now, I'm also a big believer in you don't put all your eggs in one basket, whether that's real estate or stocks and indexes. You got to have a portfolio. You got to spread it out. I'm a big, big, big believer in real estate, obviously, with what I do.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Yeah. We won't go into it, but I learned that the hard way.
Sure. Another story for another day. But you mentioned like the tax incentives. If you're not familiar with the cost segregation, if you buy a property, highly, highly, highly recommend doing one of those if you're going to hold it for 4 to 8 years or whatever it may be. But all in all,
and I'll interrupt you for just a second to say that in my experience, the great thing about cost segregation is I could just hand it to a professional who would do the cost segregation, feed it back to me. I pay them a fee, and it goes to the IRS, and it's done. It's not like I need to Google it and figure out how to do it. I mean, there are cost segregation professionals. I mean, it was phenomenal. I was like, really? Okay, where do I sign?
So Russ, I just cut the check for our cost segregation 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
we bought ours, like I said, a little over a year ago. We finalized our cost segregation. I mean, to Russ's point, that is literally what happened. We interviewed a
Yeah.
company, I hired them, we scheduled them to come out.
It's so my point is to the people listening and watching, you know, you can do this. It's so simple. It sounds daunting. It sounds complicated. It sounds like high level stuff. I
It is
mean,
not.
the first one I ever did was a $50,000 investment. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't $1 million investment. It was 50. It's all I had. I think it was 55 that I could put. I felt like I was, you know, playing blackjack in Vegas with a nickel. You know, it's just, I only have a nickel, but I mean, it had such an impact over 3 years with the growth of it and then the cost segregation. I was blown away.
I mean, it is phenomenal. Now, I'm with you. It's one of those things that you think it's incredibly daunting going through it. Like you read like what it does for you, but then when you go through it, you're like, that's it. Like I filled out a form and then you did all the work for me. Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's an amazing thing. And I want y'all to all ask about cost seg, and not that I know how to do it, but I know people who know how to do it.
Well, my wife would be remiss too, from a tax standpoint. If you're in South Carolina, make sure you're filing for if you buy a new property, make sure you're filing for your ATI exemption. My wife would definitely tell me to say that, and I've definitely learned from her a lot of things. And like I said, she's way smarter than I am. So if you're in South Carolina, file for your ATI exemption. If you're not sure what it is, ask your closing attorney; they'll be able to help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. Attorneys are so valuable for that.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. I think one of the things, and I'm married to an attorney, so I'm just unbelievably biased. But
Yeah.
you know, I think, you know, whether it's our CPA, our attorney, all the professional folks that are adjacent to us really help drive our business. And I look at them as partners as opposed to somebody that I have to cut a check to.
Right.
And I look to them, and if you have a good attorney, you have a good CPA, you have a good maybe business manager, whatever it may be, like they are assets to your team. And, you know, you're paying for knowledge, not time. You're paying for experience, not time. So
Yes.
when I have to stroke a check to our CPA, now luckily I'm married to an attorney, so my fees are a little bit lower, but when I stroke a check to a CPA, I don't think about it because I know what he's doing for us in the background and the experience he has. And I look at him as an asset. We don't make a move without letting him know, like, hey, this is what we're looking at. What is the implications if we do this, good or bad? So I look at all the professional folks, similar to all the trades that I have that work for us and do great work for us, that they are just as important to us as I am to the organization.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a licensed commercial agent, licensed residential agent, and I ask people to rely on me. Just let me handle it. Just give it to me. Don't try to figure it out. I'll explain it. I mean,
Sure.
it's not smoke and mirrors. I'm going to explain the process and walk you through. And when I was a remodeling consultant, same thing. It's like, don't, you know, do your research, bring it to me, but I can tell you what the building codes are, and I can tell you what's going to happen or not happen. I can tell you if that wall's load bearing or not load bearing. Let me take you through that. But then when I need an attorney, I'm not an attorney, never have been, not planning to be. I'm not a CPA, never have been, not planning to be.
Don't want to be.
So, right, just the same way that you deal with the remodeling contractor or an agent, as I am, seek out the people that can make it easy and cut and dry. I love as cut and dry as we can make it. Attorneys have a little struggle with that because not everything's cut and dry. But
that's what a good AI model's for. Take what they say, throw it in there, and say, explain it to me like I'm 5.
I love it. So you have a podcast, or you had a podcast?
We did. We had a podcast. We did. I'd have to look back and see. We did over 100 episodes, but it was somewhere north of 100 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
We called it the real estate unsuccess stories. So we focused on folks that would come on in the industry all across commercial, residential, real estate, and they would come on and tell kind of the dark side, the bad side of real estate, because what I saw, and nothing against this on like LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff, everyone's like, hey man, real estate sunshine and rainbows, you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to do all these great things. And I had an opportunity to talk to some really influential people, some folks that are way out in front of where I ever even think I could be one day. And, you know, some very large names, but they all had similar stories, that they all cut their teeth. They all had mishaps. They all had things that they had to overcome. And what we wanted to do was just bring to light that, hey, if you're going through this right now, if you're kind of in it, that you're not alone. Everyone, including folks that have, you know, millions of dollars in assets, tens of millions of dollars in assets, have done the same thing. You know, we had a guy, that told a story, a well-known investor in the multifamily space. One of the guys that he got mixed up with turned out to be in the mob. And that was kind of an interesting story. We had some folks that got held at gunpoint.
I missed that. What was?
One of the guys, he was doing a 1031 exchange. The exchange house, the guy was mixed up with the mob. So,
oh wow. Okay.
That did not end well for him. He was embezzling money, and he was taking the money from the 1031 exchanges and using it personally. So not only did this gentleman that I was interviewing, his money got stolen, but it just so happened that the mob was using him for some of their real estate transaction 1031 exchanges.
So where was the mob person in the transaction?
They were a client of this gentleman, of the 1031 exchange president, and he embezzled and used their money incorrectly, and they handled the repercussions themselves. Let's put it that way.
So we're talking like mob violence here?
He was the 1031 exchange person was found in a car.
Okay. Wow. That's about as real as it gets.
I mean, that was probably the craziest story that we ever had. I mean, a lot of them were more like, hey, one gentleman actually, he lost $250,000 in a deal. I mean, just went from making money to flat broke, and then rebuilt his entire empire from there. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was really eye-opening for me. One of the things that I've learned in this whole time doing this is I really help. And I think it's just in my DNA. I like education. I like educating people. I like educating myself.
Right.
So we had a meetup group at one point in time.
Your family is all teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is a public Montessori school principal.
Okay.
So she was an educator, special needs, all the way up. And now her career is she's the principal of a public Montessori school, which is a heavy duty job. I had no idea until we became involved. She leaves about 6 a.m. and comes home at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So education is a deal.
It is. And I'm a firm believer in it. And everywhere that I go within the real estate world, I try to either share knowledge that I've gained, or as I meet people that are definitely more knowledgeable, more experienced than me, I try to share their knowledge with other people as well.
Yeah. All right. So we got to talk more about this mob thing.
If I don't remember if we kept the episodes up or not. I would have to go back and look. But if it was one of the,
we need that.
I mean, I still have the audio, but it was one of the early ones, and it's. I would have to go back and I want to say it was in the first like 25 episodes. I mean, the whole time my jaw is just on the floor as this gentleman's telling the story. And it was truly the most unique story I've ever heard. Like I interviewed a ton of people. I was super grateful to have all the guests that we did. I mean, we had people like Rod Khleif and like all these great guests.
Sure.
But that story to this day sticks with me. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. Mainly, like I said, my jaw was on the floor the entire video. Just like you said, what? Hold on, back that up one more time. He did what?
Yeah. Yeah, it gets real sometimes.
It can. Don't get mixed up with the mob.
I don't plan to. I'm a little old for that now.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, in my past, I might have considered it, but at this point, I'm just too old for that. So
There you go. Do it on your own. It's a lot easier.
yeah, we're gonna have a property manager on one of our next podcasts, and those stories are just unreal. Eviction stories and tenant stories and those things, they just really, really get nuts.
Went to a bar, refused to shine, didn't buy no beer, and said, I tell you what, my name is Russ, and I'm on the mic, so listen to my podcast show. Russ might say a thing or two that you don't wanna hear, tell you what he's thinking, just some good ideas. He's got some rowdy friends, he's gonna have them on the show. If you need some information, Russ will tell you where to go. If you feeling down or feeling mighty low, Russ will talk about money and watching that money grow. His name is Russ. He's got the microphone.